Greetings, Love Posse. Before we get into today's conversation, I'd like to say these things. Number one, I was sent here to help humanity. I have tremendous love for all souls. That love requires me to speak truth. I am well aware that truth for some people may be painful and difficult to hear. That's none of my business. I'm also well aware that by speaking truth, I may attract or draw attack. Again, that's none of my business. So when you listen to this message, it may cause some people to leave hateful comments. I will not delete those comments. I want the world to see your hatred, your unconsciousness, and your ignorance. That'll be your legacy. Right down there in the comment section. And number two, if you're thinking about calling me a racist, I suggest you look up the word racism first and not make yourself look like a fool. So, Love Posse, today's conversation. The unconscious white-bodied man is the most dangerous animal on the planet. It's time for an intervention. I know some of you are thinking, why is she calling humans animals? Well, according to science, humans, Homo sapiens, or modern humans, are primates. Primates are animals. Duh. Yeah. I'm so tired of people reacting before they think, before they even look something up, reacting out of ignorance. Science says, not Simon says, science says humans are animals. Therefore, unconscious, white-bodied men are animals. Not only are they animals, not only are humans part of the animal kingdom, but this particular group, unconscious white-bodied men, are the most dangerous animals on the planet. There are conscious and unconscious humans in every group. What makes this particular group of white-bodied men unconscious? What do I mean about unconscious? Because there are conscious and unconscious white-bodied men. And as I stated, I want to be clear here that there is consciousness and unconsciousness in every group of humans. But what makes this group unconscious? What do I mean about unconscious? Well, in terms of this group, I'm looking at these things. This group is consumed by greed and power, and that consumption, greed and power dictates every aspect of their lives, how they treat others and others whom they say they love, but how they treat others in the collective, how they treat Mother Earth. They don't play well with others. They're self-centered. It's all me, 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 or them, them, them. They have no idea that their behavior, that their actions cause harm, or if they do, they don't give a shit. They don't care who they harm, be it other humans or Mother Earth. They are totally devoid of empathy. Remember, it was Elon Musk who said that empathy is a weakness. He's one of those unconscious, white-bodied men. So that's what I mean about unconscious. So what makes these unconscious white-bodied men dangerous? They have no conscience. They lie and deceive and manipulate. And they do it so seamlessly. They do it seemingly without a thought, like it's their nature. They have the power to drop bombs and hurl nuclear weapons on innocent people willy-nilly, without cause. And then they make up a narrative, a story about why they did it. Donald Trump. They have a fragile ego, insecure, and their arrogance compensates for their insecurity. Their go-to for solving anything is violence. How many stories have we heard about where violence for them is the answer? They have this thirst for blood and killing. And they don't care about using other people's sons and daughters for their agenda, to accomplish their agenda. They hold everyone else accountable for their actions, their behaviors. But they never seem to be held accountable for theirs. Why? Because the police, the military, the courts, the lawmakers, all serve them. They're in a position of power where they call the shots. They run the corporations that bankroll politicians in their campaigns, that bankroll the government. They've sold their souls for greed and power, for money and power. They've never been told, and I'm assuming this based on their actions, but they're good with words. People listen to their pretty words, but don't pay attention to their actions, because they tell you in their words are an indication of their danger, but their actions more so. So based on their words and their actions, I say this: their mothers, grandmothers, daughters, wives, their buddies, their bro dudes have never told them they're out of control. Have never told them that's not the behavior of people who live in a civilized society with other people, other living beings. They've been allowed to run amok because the people closest to them don't speak up, do not point out that their behavior is evil. And I'm sure there are reasons why. Their mothers, wives, daughters, grandmothers. And yes, I'm pointing out the women, right? Because women are the wisdom keepers. And I'm sure there are reasons, excuses why. And I say excuses. Some may be, excuse may be fear, because they know their men are dangerous. They know that already. Maybe ignorance, maybe unconsciousness, maybe they're just keeping silent because they believe the silence will absolve them of their men's evil. Maybe because they want proximity to wealth and power. They love the benefits that come from wealth and power. Therefore, they are complicit in the brutality, the cruelty, the unconsciousness. So why has the behavior become so extreme, so potent? They are so unaware. They're unaware that they're going through an ego death. They're unaware that their fabricated illusion of supremacy is crumbling. And what that means, they are trying to hang on. Hang on to the illusion, and it's slipping through their hands. The lies, the deceit, the weakness, the incompetence are being exposed. They're overcompensating for feelings of smallness. Is exploding in their faces. They're bleeding out. They're bleeding out. And if you've ever gone through an ego death, you know it's painful. When you have to look at yourself, it's painful. When you have to accept the things you've done and how you're behaving and presenting yourself and see it as is for what it is, it's painful. And every time they reach out for a life raft, there's nothing there. Because they don't know any other way but to continue lying, continue with the violence, continue masquerading as people who know I'm a white man. And we're all seeing it. We're all seeing their fragility. And I feel for them because I've been through a number of ego deaths. It's painful. But they must be held accountable. Their pain is valid, but it's not an excuse. It's not an excuse for violence. It's not an excuse for discrimination. It's not an excuse for holding other people hostage. It's not an excuse for their evil. So you can sit on the sidelines and watch the out of control masculine destroy the world. You can wait it out, or you can intervene. How? Conscious white-bodied women and white-bodied men. You must call out evil. You must call out evil in your community. These unconscious white-bodied men are in your community. Maybe they will listen to you if you stand up, you speak up, and you speak out. You call it for what it is. You point it out that behavior is fucked up. You must do it. They're not going to listen to me or other people who look like me, indigenous people and black-bodied people have been saying from the beginning, that's evil. We've been calling out evil from the beginning, but no one listened. Now it's out of control. You must be the change you want to see in the world. You must be the example of love, of compassion, of kindness, of vulnerability, of gentleness. And maybe if they see you behaving consciously by being kind and loving and compassion and so on and so forth, it will inspire them to change. But if they don't know any better, or they don't care, well, we must hold them accountable. We must hold them accountable. Stop encouraging and supporting unconscious, unloving behavior. Stop the shaming. It only produces more of the same behavior. It's not productive. It's not positive. Shaming other people is unloving and unconscious. And if they're unconscious, shaming doesn't work on them. So stop the shaming. Mothers, grandmothers, sisters, women out there, start now with your children. Start now telling your little boys, little white-bodied boys, telling them now truth. Start now helping them to understand that we live in a world where there are many different people, living beings, that we must live together in peace and harmony. Start teaching them about love and kindness and gentleness. Allow them to be vulnerable. Because I don't care what anyone says. Remember when Hillary ran for president and Kamala and, other women, it was, no, we don't want a woman for president. We don't want a woman in that position of leadership because they're so emotional. Men, these men are extremely emotional. That's the lie. They act on their emotion. They get angry and they want to kill. They get jealous and they want to kill. They want something and they think they can't have it and they want it so badly, they will kill. They are not in control of their emotions because they have not been allowed to communicate their emotions, to feel what they feel. They're disconnected from themselves and everyone else. That's the problem. They're disconnected. And we need to stop encouraging that kind of behavior, that you're weak if you feel. That's part of the human experience, to feel. So they have all this stuff bottled up. And these unconscious white-bodied men only know one way, one primary way of processing what's bottled up. Violence, violence, violence. And it has to end now. We cannot go forward unless and until we help these men, because they are running the show. Because you put them in power. You give them credibility and authority. And they're just as fragile as everyone else, even more so. Why? Because they have to hold up. this lie that they've created about themselves. They did create this lie about themselves, and we all just, yes sir, massa, yep. You great, you superior, massa, yes sir. They're so fragile. They didn't want black-bodied people to look them in the eye. They're so fragile. They put their knees on their own women's neck. That's how fragile they are. They'll keep their mothers and their sisters and their wives and their daughters and their grandmothers underneath the bottom of their foot. That's how fragile they are. They're unconscious and they're dangerous. In closing, Love Posse, collectively, not individually, collectively, we cannot and will not evolve until we let go of these false narratives about separation, superiority, whiteness, blackness, goodness. Let this be a lesson to everyone that you cannot construct a narrative based on a lie. Because eventually, the lie is going to be exposed. We evolve. The universe does not remain stagnant. The universe knows nothing about tradition. Okay? The universe knows nothing about your belief of superiority. The universe stands for truth and will always seek truth, consciousness, growth, expansion. The universe knows nothing about those old ways in the past. Catch up, catch on. Thank you for your time, Love Posse. Peace and love to and for all sentient beings.